Hello and welcome to Asked and Answered. Our first question this month is, how do current market conditions affect length of haul? Well, we're actually getting a lot more opportunities for longer length of haul in this market. Customers are telling us that other trucking companies actually don't want the long length of haul. Surprising, I don't know why they wouldn't, but they're focused more on some regional and shorter haul loads. So we're actually leaning in, trying to grow all our freight, but particularly longer length of haul.
Also, we'd like to keep our length of haul and haul our freight for us instead of putting it on the train, so you typically won't see a Creed or Schaefer trailer on the railroad. Next question, what competition issues do transport companies that have partnered up to share trailers and freight create for our company? So I think the meaning of this question was, alluding to the fact that we see other companies that do power only, which we do not do that. That's really brokerage. We've also seen some other carriers buy other carriers, and we've also seen some other carriers lease their entire fleet to a different company. We don't need to do that because really we have great drivers, we have great customers, and just don't have a need to do that at Creed, Schaefer, Hunt.
Kind of like the first question where we're hearing, hey, will you guys take the long length of haul? We're also having customers come to us because we don't do that. We don't let others pull our trailers. We don't broker out freight, because in that market there is a lot of fraud going on, actually. We know that with every Creed and Schaefer load, it's going to be on a Creed trailer and, more importantly, pulled by a Creed or Schaefer driver. Also, we don't have to buy other companies. We're family owned, debt free. We have lots of opportunities on our own. And speaking of those opportunities, we need your help. Help us grow. We keep seeing more every day, and we need more drivers. So please refer great drivers just like you.
All right. Next section is the equipment and maintenance. First question there is, why are there enough shop techs to check my truck in, but not enough to fix it quickly? Well, quick, easy answer to that is our shops are well staffed, and we are committed to promptly fixing our repairs. Next, we're up 15 techs year over year and 23 techs over the last 2 years. So we continue to improve and upgrade our staffing. Repair times depend on severity and the workload.
Our team really does want to keep you updated when they're working on your truck, so they will do that. And we are implementing a new method of texting you when your truck is done, and also texting you then a survey about your experience. So please take the time to complete that survey. And just as a reminder, on Wednesdays, most of our shops have overlapping shifts, so there's a lot more text there, and we can get you in and out quicker.
Do we have a shortage of Schaefer trailers? I can't find an empty trailer when I go to one of our terminals other than red tagged ones for sale. Shorter answer to that is no. We've got plenty of trailers. We continue to upgrade our trailers each and every year. We're going to buy 300 more trailers this year, which means we have to pull the older units out and red tag them, and we sell those from our yards. We do currently maintain a well-balanced tractor-trailer ratio, and also we try not to have trailers on our yards. We want them at our customers so they can be preloaded. I'll typically tell our team, our yard is never going to preload a trailer for our drivers, so the best use for those at our shippers.
And remember too, when you go home, find out where your asset manager wants you to drop that trailer, so then that's available at a shipper or receiver for a driver. All right, next question here is, how can drivers obtain fuel treatment and washer fluid, I'm from the Midwest, I call it washer fluid, without buying it themselves? Well, anytime you need washer fluid, stop by any of our shops. We do provide it to you for free. As far as fuel treatment, all the fuel we buy at our fuel stops is treated, so we don't have to add that to your fuel.
Why add the mirror cameras on the Gen 5 Freightliners? Would we as drivers have the option not to have them and keep the convex mirror without the cameras? Easy question. The test Gen 5 Freightliner is equipped with mirror cameras. However, all future purchases of Gen 5 vehicles will not have the mirror cameras.
Next question here is, can we get some LED lights on the sides of our tractors so when backing at night or into dark areas, it would be easier to see as to where you are backing? Well, the short answer is no, and remember, the safest thing to do, particularly when it's not very light out, is to get out and look.
Next question, why did y'all start putting the trailer tandem stop bar at the 40-foot line instead of keeping it at the front of the slider rail where it used to be? The stop bar is installed at the factory as a safety feature, and it's there to prevent the tandems from sliding too far forward.
All right, can maintenance please turn down the volume on the side sensor and lane departure sensor? We have found out that the lane departure and sensor volume is adjustable at the factory, so our equipment team is really going to review those options, and we may be able to get that changed on future builds.
Why does the West Memphis shop not do certain repairs? I had to take my truck to the Freightliner dealer for a seal repair. All company shops, including West Memphis, are capable of handling any repair. However, our goal is to perform the most repairs in-house compared to outside repairs. And typically, if you have a longer, lengthy repair, it's better for us to send that out for the warranty repairs outside our shops, so that way we can get more trucks through our shops, higher volume, more drivers through faster.
How can I do my job effectively if I can't get updates on repairs when my truck is at a Freightliner shop or for that matter, any outside shop? Well, whenever a truck is sent to an outside shop, whether it's you're at one of our own shops or if RCC sends you there when you're out on the road, our team monitors that progress and we approve repairs and provide you the updates. If you need an update, just contact the local shop manager, the local shop service writer, or road call.
These will help avoid delays, and then it'll ensure getting the most up-to-date information. And also at the same time, most outside shops would rather talk to our breakdown staff because typically they're the ones that are going to be approving their repairs anyways, so it won't confuse them.
Next question here is about the diesel particulate filter. Recently I had an issue with the regen function of the engine that resulted in an extensive breakdown situation. We never like those. That required me to get a tow. How do drivers know when a regen is required? Well, typically the DPF regeneration process occurs actually when you're driving down the road. In the event there's a warning light is displayed on the dashboard, a parked regen may be needed.
Yeah, under both cases, however, the engine or exhaust malfunctions may prevent the regen cycle from initiating or concluding successfully, so possibly causing a potential breakdown. So please address the fault codes promptly to avoid problems. What is the company policy protocol procedure when there is ice accumulation on the top of our trailers? If you notice snow or ice in the trailer, just simply call road service for assistance and removal options.
Sometimes I get sent to pick up a trailer and the guard shack will say it's not there or they won't give it to me. Why isn't a trailer where ops says it is, and why won't customers give them to me? What can be done to improve the situation? Well, we've done a lot really in the last 12 to 18 months to improve this. We have a new map application we have for our operations folks, and one of those features is specific directions to the equipment we're asking you to go pick up. So we can actually send you that link with those specific directions on exactly where that trailer is. We also have implemented trailer tracking with a sensor that knows if the trailer's loaded or empty.
This question actually was asked right around the time we had 2 major snowstorms. So we did have a surplus of inbound that came into many of our shippers' receivers, and they honestly got backlogged because they were unable to come to work for a few days. So we have seen that remedy after the storms were over and they got back to normal.
All right, we have some more operations questions we're going to hit on here. Why has sending in bills of lading become such an issue now? What do I do if a customer won't sign my bills? Well, overall, all of you do a really, really good job on getting in the bills and all the information so we can get you paid timely. When you don't get all the related information in with the bill of lading, then it takes a lot of people that have to be involved. Our billing team, our operations team, credit and collections, imaging, because our customers require every piece of paper you get to be sent to them. If you do run into a situation where a customer won't sign the bill of lading, please simply just note on it, customer refused to sign, and send that in with everything else from your trip.
I arrive at my appointment time and they say I have no appointment. According to the customer, Crete trucks keep showing up at random times and the customer has absolutely no idea we are coming. Just so everybody knows, understand, there's not many places where we actually call somebody on the phone to say, hey, when can my truck arrive there? We actually have to go through websites. There's different programs where we actually go out and schedule appointments, and then they send us back to us electronically and tell us when to be there to begin with. Our CSR teams, they do work diligently to ensure productive appointments and to confirm those appointment times as well. Not to say that mistakes aren't made. Sometimes it's on us, sometimes it's on them, but electronically is how we get a majority of our appointments. So should you come across a load or a circumstance this happens, please reach out to your asset manager so that we can work back to see where the communication breakdown's occurring.
You know, Eric, that's a great benefit of both Schaefer and Crete having so much drop and hook freight as you avoid these situations. And it's why we're out there focusing, not only getting the longer length of haul freight that we talked about earlier, but also getting more and more drop and hook freight. Next question is, why is it that when we scan our trip paperwork, we get confirmation that it has been submitted, but the next day we receive an automated message asking us to rescan the paperwork? Well, good question. This was happening mainly when we had trips come in over the weekend. Part of it is we didn't have staff in here on the weekend processing those trips you sent in. Now we do, so you shouldn't be seeing those messages if the trip was successfully scanned in. So if you do get a message now, please pay attention to it. There probably was an issue.
Could dispatch be instructed to take a moment when unassigning loads to actually provide a reason? That's a great call out. We talk about this more than once, so it's not an easy solution, but a great call out. Sometimes we have communication errors where the asset manager is supposed to be doing it or the planner is supposed to be doing it, and sometimes the left hand doesn't know what the right one's doing, but yes, we can get better at that. And as we improve the percentage of times that we verbally dispatch our drivers, that'll help eliminate a lot of those occurrences.
Can you please put the actual pickup and delivery windows on the pre-plans and load assignments? Well, we actually are working on a system change to do that. You know, currently the system is designed to try to give you that window that's the most safely and legally productive for you, but we know at times knowing the whole window helps you out in accepting that load. So we are working on that. Stay tuned.
What can we as drivers do to help Crete, Schaefer, and Hunt Transportation get that one more load for all our drivers? And of course, great question. Thank you for asking. So obviously, safe on-time service, very important. When you deliver on time, the percentages that your miles and your productivity go up, just it extrapolates itself. Great communication about any issues with a load. Accurate PTA, so we know exactly when you're going to be available. And then coming out of the house on time. That also sets you up for a great week. And then utilizing loaners to move one more load and or a trailer.
You know, Eric, sometimes it's to get that extra load, you got to do sometimes that not so fun stuff. Maybe move a trailer for us to where we can get a load for that next driver. We're doing that shorter length of haul load that's going to then get you to that one more good long haul load. So work with us. And first, and then finally, you know, do what you safely and legally can. Don't limit yourself. Don't limit yourself to, hey, I won't go to that part of the country, or I don't like to go to that shipper. If you take the loads that we have available for you, we'll keep you moving. Next question here is, why is it that nobody in operations bothers to answer messages or pick up the phone when I call? Well, we recently did have an upgrade to our phone system, and we had a couple of bugs with that. It's kind of like when I get my new iPhone or your new Android. The system has its challenges that you don't expect. Most of those, if not hopefully all of those, should be fixed now. But let us know if you have any issue where you call in and you're just on sort of an endless loop, kind of in no man's land. The other thing you can do is please ensure you get everything you need to get done during the day while your regular asset manager is here, typically before 4 o'clock.
When a previous driver scales a load and that information provided to the next driver, is there a way to add the other driver's fuel level? Great question. When a driver gets the weight info of the previous driver on a T-called load, we pull that information from this CAT scale app. However, it does not include the fuel level, and we're going to explore that further, so thank you for that question.
Is there a possibility of revisiting the reefer fuel solution, as it wastes valuable time when I have to top off a reefer at the end of a trip when that isn't also a fuel stop? Well, Eric, I know when you set that up, you said that wasn't going to happen very often. And so we actually looked at this driver, and in the history that we could find, that had only happened to the driver once. So it does not happen very often. A vast majority of the time, those reefer fuel solutions are going to be with tractor solutions at the same time. In the rare instance you do have to top it off, you probably won't get a tractor solution at the same time right before you're going to deliver, because as you know, that will come out, that new solution will come out once you get your next trip.
Why are the asset managers not trained on logs and compliance and safety? Well, asset managers are trained in log compliance needed for trip planning. We do have resources in our logs department that are specialized in various intricacies of those areas to help answer in more depth questions, and they're specialized in answering those for you.
All right, moving on to your favorite subject here, technology.
Love technology.
All right. Are there any plans to get new troll? We have a lot of trolls out there, aren't there, these days? We need some new ones, apparently. No, there are no plans to get new trolls, but there are plans to get new toll transponders that will work in Ohio, Indiana, and West Virginia. Yes, we actually have just started getting those new toll transponders. We're getting them swapped out. We're also adding the Horizon sticker on your windshield. What we find is that the coverage is going to be exactly the same with these toll transponders, but the old ones, the batteries were not working, and so these new easy for me to say, new toll transponders should help avoid some of your challenges.
Hey Tim, with all that being said, on these troll transponders, there are still some states mentioned above, Ohio, Indiana, West Virginia, that the readers don't always read properly, so not sure that's going to help that. But until those states update the toll booths, not much we can do to pay those, but just pay by the plate invoices through
You're
that
just
system.
so happy I got that question.
Yes, I am.
Yes, yeah.
Tongue twister. What can be done to improve the phone system? Kind of talked about this earlier. Is the new on-hold music intended to trigger migraines so drivers give up? Love the question, thereby reducing call volume. As Tim mentioned earlier, recently did do a phone upgrade, and like getting a new cell phone, new iPhone, there's always bugs to be worked out. There are a number of bugs we didn't expect, including calls transferred to queues that went to no man's land. So do apologize for that.
And as for your headache, you can blame Eric. We let him pick out that new hold music. We did fight him off. He wanted rap, his favorite music, but we said no. But once we heard his new music he did pick, we are changing that. So that should be changed actually by now.
No more migraines.
No more migraines. All right. Is anybody out there having issues with the new badge? Mine didn't work for me. Well, hopefully your new badge is working now. We're not sure if it was a particular terminal location or what happened. We've been having great success with the badges. If you are having an issue, please contact your terminal. Overall, we have found drivers like these new badges much better. They're easier to use than the card swipes and should be more reliable in the long run as well.
Well, Tim, like with any new technology or change, sometimes just a little subtle change, a little frustration, but I think we've worked through it. Drivers greatly have adopted it and it's working well. Why are drivers not compensated for installing apps on their phones? We try to make every effort to ensure that anything and everything you need for your job can be available on the tablet. Many drivers choose to do so for convenience, such as the ADP app and the Creed app, so that way they access messages when they're away from their truck. However, over the past few years, many customers keep creating apps that require their use. And sometimes it's easier just to put that on your app on your cell phone temporarily, because we are going to upgrade our tablets, and as we upgrade our tablets, it'll have more memory and more availability for these apps as that keeps expanding. So more to come in the future.
Yeah, the customers just keep pushing us, and we have to try to do the best we can. So thank you for working with us. Why did we dump the TransFlow app for the e-trip sheets? As of now, there's no method of listing cash expenses for reimbursements on e-trips like there was on the paper trip sheets. Are there any plans to include this in the future? Well, the scanning functionality of the e-trip sheet is really the same as the TransFlow. You just don't have the paper cover sheet. The advantage of the e-trip sheet is that it auto-populates your trip information and makes the submission process a lot more accurate and faster. And yes, we are planning on adding the cash expenses to the e-trip sheet soon. Thank you.
Besides preventable accidents and having 12 plus bad safety points anytime during the quarter, what are the other safety events that prevent earning the safe productivity bonus? Well, citations, violations, warnings, whether it's in your truck or personal vehicle, which includes cell phone usage, texting while driving, speeding, reckless driving, seatbelt, leaving the scene of an accident, U-turns, or an out-of-service violation.
Yeah, another thing that can do it is a preventable cargo claim. But, Eric, a lot of those things you mentioned could also not only help you not get your bonus, it could help you not have a job anymore either. So please just make sure you put safety first and foremost at all times. All right, question here is, can you please give a step-by-step explanation of breakdown pay? I think I always need that step-by-step explanation too. It's a little challenging. How long after the breakdown does pay start, and how much is it per hour and per day? Well, we start calculating downtime from the time you're unable to work because you have an equipment issue, and please make sure you notify your fleets team as soon as that happens. The first 12 hours, there's no pay. Typically, that's the time where you could be taking your 10-hour break, some other off-duty time. Then we pay $100 per 24-hour period, prorated based upon how long your downtime is. So it gets a little confusing, so we thought we'd do an example here. So if your breakdown is start to finish 48 hours. The first 12 hours are no pay, so then you'd get paid for 36 hours, again, prorated to $100 a day. So that would really be a day and a half, so it'd be $150 for that 48 hours of breakdown.
I always like to say, hey, just remember, first off, most companies don't even pay breakdown pay. And then secondly, as I'm talking to drivers at breakfast or coffee, whatever it may be, I like to remind them, we've got enough work that we can put you to work right away, whether it's moving trailers, switching trucks, using a loaner, that you're going to be well compensated above and beyond what breakdown pay is. So we have plenty of work to do. Next question. What is the company policy regarding layover pay? Under what circumstances should a driver request layover pay? I'd say we typically don't have drivers without a load for a 24-hour time period to begin with. So typically, a layover is considered after 24 hours, and we've got plenty of freight. We've mentioned that a few times. If we don't have freight where you are, we would most likely deadhead you to where that freight is as well.
We occasionally do pay layover pay. It's really when there's a situation where maybe we've made an error or the customer's made an error and it's really caused you extensive downtime in one location. That's probably going to keep you for more than 24 hours. And in those situations, since they can vary so much, the best thing to do is contact your asset manager and ask them about, will layover pay apply?
Yeah. Sometimes layover pay gets confused with detention pay. Layover pay is different than detention pay. Anytime you're delayed loading or unloading, please submit the detention pay so that we can pay you and also bill the customer.
Wow, a month with only one facilities question. So this one's kind of short and sweet. Can we get fans and showers at terminals to help with the humidity? Well, all facilities where we do have showers, we do have exhaust fan systems to pull out the heat and the humidity. If you're at a facility where you don't think it's working well, that it's not pulling that out to the level you think it should, please do contact the terminal team there. Maybe there's an issue with that and we need to look at it.
All right, last question.
Last one.
Tim and Eric, would you consider for an episode of Asked and Answered or possibly a separate production inviting a driver on to talk a lot more about some of these questions? Well, honestly, we have Asked and Answered almost every morning or every day at lunch. You can typically find Tim or I. We'll be in the cafeteria if we're in town, and really, goal is to get as much information out as possible in these Asked and Answers in 30 to 40 minutes to as many people. But we're always available for you to ask questions, and really look forward to it. I know Tim and I had lunch with Michael last week from Jackson, Mississippi. He is on the red side. I did try to see if he'd haul chickens for Schaefer to help us out, but you know what? He lives in Jackson, so it doesn't make sense. Yeah. Crete's the best opportunity for him to get his miles and get home time, so it's perfect. But we had a great Asked and Answered question that whole time.
Yeah, so if you're coming through Lincoln, would like to have lunch with us, meet us for some coffee in the morning, please reach out. We'll try to make that work. We do it a lot, as Eric said, when we're in town. But also just keep the questions coming in right here, and we'll get them answered for you on the next Asked and Answered. Thank you.
Thank you.